I think the last minutes of Bugonia, where the earth is still and Where Have All the Flowers Gone is playing, was one of the more powerful sequences I saw in film this year. I just rewatched Bugonia and I want to talk about it. Bugonia is loosely based on Save the Green Planet, which is a South Korean film. It follows two young men who are cousins, Teddy and Don. They live isolated lives. They're shaped by paranoia and this conspiracy thinking. The system and life has kind of chewed them up and harmed their family and spit them out. And they're convinced, at least Teddy is, that Michelle, who is a powerful CEO, is secretly an alien planning to destroy humanity, so they abduct her and hold her captive. We then follow the aftermath of that kidnapping, almost entirely in confined spaces. And we watch this dynamic and power shift struggle between captors and the captive. Teddy and Don are trying to make Michelle confess that she's an alien while struggling to maintain control over the whole situation. And Michelle, she fluctuates between fear and trying to manipulate them and trying to comply, as she's just trying to survive and understand what she's dealing with. The escalation and resolution of this film takes it into unique territory, to say the least. Emma Stone plays Michelle with another Oscar-worthy performance. At this point, she's got to be this generation's Meryl Streep. In this, she is cold and unreadable, very controlled most of this film, and that persona leads to some very comic moments when paired with and against Jesse Plemons' character. Her performance keeps you guessing on the first watch. You're never fully certain whether you've correctly predicted the direction this film is going to take. Jesse Plemons is Teddy, who does the whole quiet instability thing perfectly. He is so sure in his beliefs, and as an audience going in, your inclination is to discount him as crazy. He never fully loses his cool or his decorum, and he has a level of intelligence that makes you at points unsure where you land on his character. And although if he was just a straight up mentally ill person, the performance works for that as well. He keeps the right level of sanity and unhinged in this character with intelligence to make it seem plausible at the end that he is right. This movie is really about those two leads and the insane performances they give. I find Aidan Delbus endearing as Teddy's neurodivergent cousin who is loyal but not quite sure what's going on all the time. I really could have done without Stavros Hallis's character altogether, I think. I guess it adds to Teddy's mental anguish in his background, but it felt a bit forced to me. Yorgos Lanthimos directed this film, and it's probably the most palatable one of his I've seen. I've seen Poor Things and The Lobster and Dogtooth. I think if you like any of those on any level, it would be safe to say that you would enjoy Bugonia. And if you were finding that those movies were a little out there for you, I think Bugonia still might be something that you would enjoy. It's a safer pick. This film is framed very clean, very simply. Sometimes with something so chaotic going on in the frame that seems to be a little bit tamed by how clean the shot is. There are other moments, however, with odd framing on faces, cropped in or kind of off-center, that make it feel unsettling. I love also the vertical aspect ratio in this film. It's a different element that catches your eye and brings you into the world. There's also these black and white flashbacks that are another method to add an unsettling nature to this film. Everything else is raw and realistic, except for, the ending and these black and white flashbacks that have surreal elements. Kudos to Will Tracy, who wrote The Menu, which I did enjoy, for the exceptional dialogue in this script. The interrogation scenes between Teddy and Michelle are so great. They're both such a force, titans going at it, trying to outwit one another. None of this feels like a crime of passion. It feels procedural, almost matter of fact, like a police drama. And Michelle's attempt to kind of control the situation is masterful. She starts to shift different tactics, and you can see her cooking up that strategy in her mind as she changes her approach throughout the film. The score really shines in Bugonia. There's a lot of silence to kind of ratchet up the tension. But when the score does come in, it's big and boisterous. Like when Teddy is riding his bike back and forth, from unknowingly killing his mom based on Michelle's guidance. And when we see the mothership, it's sci-fi and paranoia, perfectly played by this full orchestra. The tone really bounces from comedy to terror to shock and awe so fluidly. A lot of directors or writers can't really achieve those tonal shifts like this. It's very delicate. It works here because it remains shocking when it's supposed to be shocking. It remains funny when it's supposed to be funny, but it also keeps you off balance. You're never quite sure what to expect next and how that tone will move. The frame that sums up Bugonia to me is Michelle awakening from her stupor. She's chained up, covered in this antihistamine cream, and realizing that her hair is gone. This moment makes you feel the most worried for her, and that you realize that Teddy and Don are going to see this thing through. It's jarring, and ironically, she looks totally alien in this situation. This is where Michelle's mental game really starts. It perfectly sets up the power struggle that we're going to see through most of this film, and how we see it unravel at the end from where it started to where it ends up. It's sort of this plan that ends up costing the whole human race their lives, and this is the start of it. The imagery is super vivid, and knowing that Emma Stone really committed to cutting her hair, people remember film lore like that for a long time. It's great. You can't miss the message that human beings are in some ways a virus to the planet, wreaking havoc wherever they go, treating one another terribly. The alien plan or goal is to save the planet and the people on it. However, at the end, it's determined that we are too far gone. Our atmosphere is popped. Everyone dies. The world continues on without us. It's very eerie, those shots at the end, but also undeniably peaceful, almost like a relief that's felt throughout the cosmos. The examination of power is also fun to watch. Who has the power? Who thinks they have it? How quickly it changes hands. Michelle's authority doesn't disappear just because she's kidnapped. It changes. She has to adapt to her situation. She's, a CEO. She's used to high pressure situations. And as an alien, you got to think that she's pretty bright. So she adapts, reads the room, uses her intellect when she doesn't have force, at her disposal. The film starts off with bees, and it's a powerful way to show the parallels between working bee colonies and the society that we have set up as humans. Most bees are workers, doing their part, not dreaming of anything more, just kind of working to produce. And you can say the same for a lot of people these days. It also ties into this alien view of humans. Like insects, we could be seen as pests or an infestation. I think Teddy's methodical research and the way it's displayed kind of softens the blow of what he's actually done. He's killed several people. 2 were aliens, that we know of. But his notes and his pictures are almost rational. It's like a scientific process. It led him to the truth, but at what cost? We do get to see some of the brutality and the pain he inflicts with the voltage test. It's just clear that that basement has seen some horrors. That's where I'll stop on themes and symbolism for Bugonia. I know there's a lot more out there. Let us know in the comments if there's something I missed or something that resonated with you. The pivotal moment is Michelle hopping out of the ambulance right after we think, well, Teddy's dead, and this is nice. This successful lady is going to be safe. But it turns out she's in a hurry to sneak back into the office because she's in fact an alien, and she needs to catch her mothership. In the end, Teddy is proven right. It's not a con that she's playing acting like she's an alien. And the other surreal elements of the film start piling on. Teddy got everything right. Even the power that the alien's hair possesses. The set design is great when we get to the ship. You're really putting everything together in that moment. And to close it out, this group of aliens decides that Earth is no longer viable. They pull the plug, killing everyone, and you get those stunning scenes from across the world of humanity kaput. Human activity suddenly halted. I watched this first in October and now a rewatch in January. And there are, of course, diminished returns when it comes to the reveal. not just the reveal, but you know the truth the whole time on second watch. So the stakes are never going to be as high as that first viewing. Again, to reiterate, I don't think we needed the cop with the dark past character. He adds tension when he shows up, for sure. He's another element of Teddy's demons in the past, of course. But I think any nosy cop dropping by would have ratcheted that tension up. I don't think Stavros was really up to the caliber of acting that the others were bringing to the table. Even on a second watch with the plot blown, this is still a great movie, and tension can still be built. And Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons just acted their tails off. This is a film I wouldn't hesitate to recommend to a friend who hasn't seen it yet. I'll end by saying that I think Bugonia says something powerful about empathy and what it means when it's lost. The more time Michelle spent with humans, the less empathy she had. The situation with Teddy's mother's illness, for example. And in return, Teddy didn't have empathy for Michelle when he kidnaps her. And the ultimate choice of the aliens to pull the plug on Earth, it's not clear if that's an empathetic choice or not. Was it the right thing to do to stop suffering, or just a hasty choice of a race who thinks they're superior? What do you think? That wraps it up for Bugonia. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I would really appreciate it. And if you're so inclined, check out the Patreon. I currently have it set up one low price for everything you see there, $3 a month, as we build that community up. But thanks so much, movie lovers. We'll see you next time.